All right, we are back. Another episode of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point. Don't remember if I did on the last one. Not sure.
I don't
Doesn't
think you
matter.
did.
Did I
I
not?
was going
Okay,
to say it,
exclamation. I missed
and
it.
at the end, I think,
Tough break.
did you do another one? You have to do another one with full energy.
Yeah, it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting to me.
Ooh, you're just not going to do it.
I messed it up. I already did one. I did one.
But it's just like half, not doing anything for me.
Bad way to start off. That's okay. We got it here. We're back. It's not college
That means
confession.
we can only go up.
That's right. This is just a normal edition of Your Relationship Sucks. But that's okay because even the normal editions are better than anything you're hearing anywhere.
I know.
For those who don't know, this is all off the top of my head. I have no idea what's coming. All I get to hear is what type of question it is. I don't know anything about it. I don't know any of the specifics. So everything you hear is all improvised. It's the most dangerous reputational show on the internet today. That's what's happening here. That's what you're about to experience. So let's get into it. Initial impressions. Hit me with it. What do you got?
Allowing my girlfriend to access my work cell.
No, don't. Absolutely don't. Terrible idea. Don't do that at all. Ever. Don't ever do that. It's an awful decision. This is a no-brainer. I don't even need to hear more. This is a short episode today. Don't. End of discussion. I don't know. All right, what do you got? What's the actual question? There's no possible way that this is going to go any other way than that. There's just not. It's just not possible. There's no possible reason for this to go any other way.
Okay, this is my friend's issue that he asked about.
I'm sure it is.
His girlfriend, a 27-year-old female, wants to check a 31-year-old male's work cell phone. As part of his job, he has a cell that has to be locked at all times when not in use. She said that he shouldn't have a problem with her going over his call log. He's fine with her checking his personal phone, but doesn't want her to have complete access to company property. I see his point. It's not his to share. I know this woman was cheated on in the past, but not by him. He was thinking that he could let her look at the calls received made without letting her have the phone. I think this is a generous offer. She tends to think he should trust her completely to look anytime she wants, or it's a deal breaker. What do you think?
Okay. There's a couple of issues to solve here. The first issue is one that's a little bit more serious, which is, should you let your significant other look at your phone? Right? Now,
I think that's a common one. That's a big one, right?
Absolutely. Now, I'm not going to tell you yes or no, because the answer is there's no right answer. If you want to keep your shit private, keep your shit private. If you want to let your partner see it, let your partner see it. If you feel that it's a deal breaker for you not to see your partner's cell phone at any time and your partner disagrees with you, break up. It's not that difficult. The two of you have to decide what you're comfortable with, because everybody has their own reasons for wanting those things. And just because somebody says, I don't want you to see it, doesn't mean it's because they're cheating.
No.
That's a fallacious way of saying something, which is, well, you need to prove the negative to me, right? You need to prove to me that you're not cheating. It's impossible to do. Now, do a lot of people who hide their stuff cheat? Absolutely. I'm not telling you that people who don't want you to see it aren't cheating. What I'm saying is that doesn't necessarily mean it, but just by seeing it doesn't prove that they're not cheating. So don't get those twisted. So what I'm saying is those two things, you need to communicate. That's between the two of you. There's no other way to put it. Anybody who tells you, any of your friends who tell you that if the other person does something that they disagree with, that other person is the scum of the earth, they're wrong because it's individual. That's individual. Everybody has their own reasons for why they do things.
He sounds like he's fine having her have full access to his personal phone. Like,
I don't even care about that. I don't even care.
No, I know.
I agree with you. You're right.
I'm giving you an example of someone
100%.
who it's not bothering him. He doesn't care.
100%. But that also doesn't prove that he's not cheating. He's doing it, but it doesn't prove anything. That's my point. But it's between the two of you to be comfortable on what it is. That's what this is. It's between the two of you. You have to be comfortable. That's the much smaller issue in this particular point. I think most people are going to make that the bigger issue. That's a much smaller issue. How old is this guy? 31?
31.
Okay. Let's have some real talk about what's going on here. If you give any human being, particularly someone that you may potentially make irredeemably jealous and psychotic, there is zero reason that that person should be able to communicate with anybody that you work with. That's a terrible fucking idea. The second that this psychopath, which is what she is, not saying it's her fault, I'm saying she is obviously a fucking psycho about people cheating on her. The second that you give her the hint that you might possibly be potentially, hypothetically considering a dalliance with someone who owns a vagina that is not hers, she's going to go on your work phone and ruin your fucking career. That's a terrible idea. Don't give her access. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you out of your goddamn mind? That is insane that you would even contemplate something like that. And I'm not just saying that because she's a woman. It's the same thing for girls. Hey, women out there, don't give that crazy guy that's fucking you the ability to ruin your fucking career for no reason. Don't do it. Find somebody else. It's not that hard. That's my point, right? That's the much bigger issue here. These two are obviously going to break up. That's a fact. This woman is so in her own head about cheating that she is not going to be able to have a healthy relationship. That's a fact. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the idea that you would consider allowing this woman to have any sort, because here's the thing. People look at the person. I mean, think about this, honestly, because you have to. This is very true. You have to do this. You basically have to convince yourself, no matter how crazy the other person is, if you're having sex with them, they're going to treat you differently than they would treat anybody else on earth. That's what you have to convince yourself. Guys do it all the time. And women do it too. Like, you know, women want a bad boy. So they go and they find a bad boy. And he's not exactly right, you know? Like, you're like, oh, all right. Well, this is weird. But he's going to be
Good
awesome
enough.
in the sack because he's just going to fucking rail me, right? Which is great. And sometimes you need that. Go for it. Get yours. But during that time, what you're convincing yourself is, this guy's not going to freak out on me. This isn't going to turn into a rape, right? Like, you have to say that to yourself in order to make yourself feel better and in order to allow yourself to do it. That's what happens. That's a one-night stand. Now, if you're going to date somebody like that, you are convincing yourself that all the other crazy shit that they do is directed at everybody except you. She will do it or he will do it to everybody else except you. That's what you have to convince in order to physically go through with the act of having sex with this person. You have to convince yourself of that. So basically what I'm saying is this guy has convinced himself that this chick is crazy, but not when it comes to him. Like, he's not saying The first, and again, I don't know where he works, okay? But this is his primary source of income. Think about that. It's his primary source of income. Now, with him saying like, well, there's a rule, it has to be locked or whatever, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm sure that you've broken that rule yourself. So go fuck yourself. Like, don't use that as an excuse. That's an excuse because you think she's crazy and she needs a reason, and that's the reason you're giving her. That's what that is. That's not a real thing, because there's no possible way that your work phone has always been like, you've definitely broken that rule. That's a fact. It's not possible. Also, you opening it up and showing her the fucking call log, not work related. That's a breaking of the rule. So either way, you're breaking the rule. It doesn't matter if it's her or if it's you. It doesn't matter. But this is your primary source of income. And you said to her, no, you can't have unfettered access to the only thing that sustains me in life. And she was like, you're an asshole. And you immediately didn't go, you're fucking batshit crazy, go fuck yourself. You're rationalizing. The amount of rationalizing you're doing with just that little example. I can't even imagine the other stuff this girl is doing that he's rationalizing away because he's like, I like having sex with her. That's what this is, right? Like, oh, she's great with kids or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, probably because she is mentally on the same level as the child. Like, yeah, that's awesome. That's what that is. So anybody, like, and again, I'm not bagging on this girl. I'm saying this girl is crazy. Like, that's a fact. Anybody who's like, oh, you don't know, or what, you're an idiot. You're wrong. You can go fuck her and let her have unfettered access to your cell phone that goes to work. And good luck with that when you do something. You do anything. You don't even have to actually fuck her over, but you give her the hint that you're going to fuck her over. Good luck with what's about to happen. But this guy's trying to use an excuse. Like, that's the thing. Think about that. He's rationalizing so much that he's literally trying to come up with an excuse. He is trying to invent an excuse as to why she can't have his cell phone. What? Why? Because he knows she's crazy. He knows it. And so he's like, well, I can't tell her the truth. I can't. I literally can't tell her the truth. Also, he's like, well, I'll show her the call logs or whatever. You really think that this girl who is insane about cheating isn't going to be like, well, you can just delete the call. Like, you just delete it. Like, you just say disappear and it disappears. It's technology. It's very simple. That's the problem. That's the bigger issue. Like, I think most people here would be like, well, you can't let her do. And I'm like, no. You're not considering the right thing. The right thing is, how crazy is the person that you're fucking and how much rationalizing are you doing with that? That's the concerning issue here. This is a guy who is rationalizing away because I'm guessing she's dynamite in the sack. And she's probably a blast to hang out with sometimes. That's probably true. When she's not being a lunatic, probably true. It's the same thing as any number of women that I know who have, had sex with a guy who's got a couple of screws loose, and they're like, oh, you don't understand him. And I'm like, I definitely do, because I'm not a moron, and I have a couple of screws loose myself, so I definitely know what he's thinking and what he's doing way better than you, because you're booty blinded. And then later on, they're like, yeah, wow, he was kind of crazy, wasn't he? And I was like, oh, yeah, you fucking think so? That's what I was trying to tell you the whole goddamn time, right? That's the concerning issue, is that this guy literally isn't seeing it. Now, I'm talking about the poster himself, because he's like, I'm asking for a friend. No, you're not, dude. No, you're not. You're absolutely not. And you know why? Because he's scared that she's going to be on wherever he posted this question, and she's going to recognize it. So he's like, well, let me get a little bit of cover from that so I have plausible deniability, right? That's what's happening here. This is all, I'm telling you, that's what's happening here. There's no reason for any of that. But if you don't trust the other person 100%, and maybe even then, but if you don't trust them 100%, and I'm talking literal in your guts, trust them. Not like, oh, I trust them and I could get married to him. That's a different level than 100% absolutely. If my life was on the line, I will trust this person. If you don't feel that for the girl or the guy who is with you, then there should be zero consideration that you would give them access to your livelihood. That's fucking insane. And that's the reason that you continue to be okay with rationalizing fucking a crazy person. That's what's happening here. I don't know. I can't. This is insane. Like this, this question is so obvious that I can't figure out what's happening. That I'm concerned about it. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't even know if I have anything to add because you covered more than I thought you'd be able to cover. I thought, like you, it was open and shut, but I knew for a fact you would find more than enough to talk about that I, had never thought of before. I too was a little showing someone your call log is a terrible idea because then she has the names of people that she can start searching, and she can literally start just calling people that you've called, which is even worse than maybe some classified documents, in all honesty. I highly doubt there's classified documents on the phone. But that almost seems like the worst part of your phone to compromise.
Think about it this way.
Was my initial thought.
Think about it this way, because you're 100% right. Like there's all sorts of rules about like what confidential information you can't give it out because it's not public, insider trading and all that stuff. Seriously, think about this.
Yeah.
If this woman is smart enough, and you don't have to be that smart to do this, but if she's just a little bit intelligent, she could take that information and make it seem like it came from you. That's my point. And I'm not even saying sending it from your email. I'm saying she could read something, go look some stuff up, go call some people, go do whatever she needed to do, get it out there, and that could potentially blow back on you. That's what I'm saying. It's so small. It's such a small part of what this is. But you're not thinking clearly because you're booty blinded. That's what you are. You're looking and you're like, it's awesome to have sex with this person. And that's totally fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. Like, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying don't ruin your life just for that. Like, if you're going to ruin your life, you better be 100% all in. And you better go down with the ship, right? It's totally fine. I mean, at least in my opinion, if you 100% trust the other person, and it turns out that they brought, and I'm talking without a doubt, know anything, which basically you can't do with anybody ever. That's such a high bar that it's almost impossible to reach. But if you actually get there and then that person fucks you over, that's life, man. That's life. That's how that works.
Do you come back from that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you're like, hey, you know what? I trusted. That's lesson learned, man. But I thought, honestly, like I was so convinced that there's nothing I can do about it. That's life. Yeah. That's bad luck.
You can trust again to that level after that, though. That's my question.
Maybe. But what I'm saying is, if you're that person and you get unlucky in that manner, whether you're tricked or she changes or he changes or whatever, doesn't matter. That's something you can accept. Anything short of that, you're going to kick yourself for the rest of your life because you're going to go, I always had an inkling. Whether it's a big inkling or a little one, there's something in the back of your head, just a little bit of a niggle in the back of your head, which is a terrible British word, I think, that like I see in books sometimes. I'm like, it just doesn't. It doesn't sound like a good word. It's like a niggling.
I mean, if it's not a great word, I'm not entirely sure why you can use it.
Well, because it fits. Like this is exactly what they're talking about. Like it's just that little part of your brain, like all the way in the back, like you can't touch, but you're like, there. It's like that little, just the thing.
It's like a little tickle.
Exactly. And if that part of your brain is turned on one tiny little parsec, which I think is a measure of time, not power, but if it's even remotely, just even the hint that it's on, you're going to kick yourself for the rest of your life. That's my point. Do not trust your livelihood to another person that you wouldn't give your life. You wouldn't put your life in their hands, regardless of circumstances. Regardless of circumstances. That is a high bar. I'm talking literally think of anything in the world and you would trust your life with them. Then you could do it. That's lesson learned. You get unlucky sometimes. Anything short of that, you're going to kick yourself for the rest of your life. That's my point. Yeah. So that's a great call by you. Stop giving them names of people that they can contact that they can screw your life up. That's my point. This girl is crazy.
Yeah.
You are rationalizing.
Yeah.
Don't let her see your work phone. It's not that hard.
It sounds like he's stuck in what is the index of crazy to hot? Is what, you know,
Yeah, I believe that's the Vicky Mendoza diagonal, I believe, from How I Met Your Mother. I believe that's the one that you're referring to. It's the crazy hot scale. So. It's all of those things.
Yeah, crazy hot scale.
Yeah, she's playing with the line. He likes having sex with her. That's what it is. But it's this is unbelievable. Don't do this. This is an awful decision. Don't do it. Don't show her anything. It's your livelihood, dude. It's your livelihood. Don't do it. That's a terrible idea. I don't know. That's it. I think we did it today. I think we did it. Whew. I like that one. That was fun. I enjoyed that one. So
it was.
We are on social media. You can check us out, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. We got little clips, try to bring some humor to the world. So check those out, please follow and all that stuff. Please tell other people about. And it's
different from the show, so you could have watched every episode. And
absolutely.
We definitely take some comments out of context and play around with them, which is
absolutely. So definitely check that out. Share it with other people, all that stuff. Please tell people about the podcast, all that. Please rate, review, subscribe, all those things. We'll do something with the reviews. We will have that. We do appreciate people listening, on YouTube. Please subscribe and all that stuff. And again, just try to share us with other people. We do appreciate it. It does help us out. If you have questions, you can send us, you can hit us on socials, whatever. But we also have an email. What's the email?
info.yourrelationshipsucks@gmail.com.
All right, so you can hit us up there. Otherwise, we will be. Oh no! Check out our link tree as well on socials. We have Karma Cancer apparel available. Very excited about it. We're gonna have the other one. We're gonna have the other stuff coming up. Don't worry about it. But we do have Karma Cancer apparel available. Please check it out. It's cool. Consider buying it. If you don't want to, that's fine. But I just want to see it out in the open. If you do buy some,
I know, take make someone's lifelong dream come true.
Yeah, 100%. This is definitely my lifelong dream. I honestly, I would love to see it. I would just be cool to see it. So I would love that. But that's it. That's it. Otherwise, we will see everybody back next time on Your Relationship Sucks. Thanks for listening. We'll see you then.